All right, hey guys, how's it going? I just want to take you through a process to try to restore a authentic Rolex Submariner. I love this watch. I wear it every single day. It never comes off. The only time I ever take it off is to polish it up and get rid of some scratches. So, like I said, it is an authentic Rolex, and since you wear it every day, it's not really babied. So what happens is you get a lot of these little scratches. So it's ordinarily brushed stainless steel, but when you wear it day in and day out, you're going to get all these little desk diving scratches. And the watch gets pretty beat up when you wear it day in and day out. There's two different surfaces. The side surfaces are these mirror-like polished surfaces. And you can they start getting all these little craze lines all over the place. And then you look at the brushed surfaces where you get all these little dings and scratches. So there's really only three tools that you need to do this at home. And it's pretty controversial. There's always people that get bent out of shape when you say you're going to try to restore one of these watches yourself. But whatever, it's my watch. I can do whatever I please with it, and I'd rather have it looking better than this. So the tools that you need. Tool number one, toothbrush. Tool number two, Dawn dish soap. Tool number three, Scotch Brite pad, green. That's important. It has to be green or you're not going to match the original Rolex grain. Last tool, Cape Cod cloth. So let's walk through each one of these things. So step one is to basically clean the scum out of all these links. Over time, a whole bunch of crap builds up in here, so toothbrush, and it's a soft bristled brush. This is not going to do any damage to a Submariner. I mean, please. So all you really just got to do, just make sure everything's nice and tight, which of course it's going to be. Throw a little Dawn dish soap, and all you really need to do is just get in here and brush it. That's it. You're just trying to get out a bunch of this scum that's kind of like accumulated in here. Some people might say, "Oh my gosh, you're going to really break the seals, and the soap in the Dawn is going to degrade the rubber gasket rings." But I mean, you could talk to jewelers, you could talk to watchmakers. No one's really going to complain about it. And if it is, you're going to send the watch in for service anyways, and they're going to replace all those rings. So if you're really looking to baby the watch, they'll fix any quote-unquote damage that you think you would be doing over here when you send the watch in for service. So that's it. And all this is really doing is just getting rid of the scum that's kind of built up in here. So I'm just going to work on this for a little bit, and then we'll go to the next step, which is going to be the Cape Cod cloths. Okay, so I'm all done washing the generalized scum off the watch. So the next step is going to be to start working at it with a Scotch Brite. So what we can do is just sort of moisten up the Scotch Brite, and then all you really need to do is just go as close as you can to the line of the grain of the brushed stainless steel. You're not going to be pushing with an incredible amount of force here. You just want to try to do it in one direction. How much force you're going to use? Basically, no more force than what I can do on my skin. So you can imagine just how little you're abrading the steel. It's really not that much. So some people might say, oh, you're going to damage the steel. But honestly, you'd have to be here for probably 400 years at this rate to do any sort of damage. So it does take a little time, because you are going to want to go as close as you can to the grain as you could possibly go. And I'm just only going to go in one sort of direction. And you're just going to stay, like I said, as close as you can. You can go through the trouble of taking off the bracelet. I really just don't feel like doing that because I'm a little bit on the lazy side. But this will do the job just as fine. As you go through it, you got to remember the places that are getting scuffed over here are the the places that are most exposed on your wrist. So, in all honesty, really, what you're going to be able to brush away with the Scotch Brite is going to be the most damaged parts anyway. So you can see, and I've only really gone over this area a couple times, and you could already see that those scratches are starting to blend in. So I'm going to keep going, and we'll see what this thing turns into. Okay, still working. I actually just kind of rinsed it off to check out the progress, and already after a minute or two, you can see that a lot of those really deep scratches here are starting to blend away. So I'm going to keep working on it, and then I'll come right back to you. Okay, here's another progress shot. So again, I'm still just working with the Cape Cod cloth. Again, I just kind of rinsed it off, and you can see that we're starting to look pretty darn good, at least relative to where we came from. So I'm going to do the last couple swipes on this thing, and then we'll start to graduate onto the Cape Cod cloth. All right, so here I am right now. I just popped it off so you could take a look. This is the back side of the watch again. This was the side that had the most dings, the most damage to it. And you can see that brushed steel, again, considering where we came from, looks a lot nicer, at least to my eye. So I'd rather walk around with this than the way it looked. So like I said, next step is going to be to break out the Cape Cod cloths. So I'm gonna just dry this thing off so we can go on to the next step. All right, so I got here my Cape Cod cloth. It's a two-piece system if you've ever used it, but this is how they work. So inside that tin, you'll find one of these. This is the actual Cape Cod cloth, and what the whole purpose of it is to work at these really mirrored surfaces here, and it'll burnish out those nasty little marks there. So the way it works is you just kind of go right up to the area in question, kind of rub on, and I didn't really take the time to tape off anything. If you really wanted to, you could have taped off the links and kind of gone along, so you're not polishing that edge that we just sort of roughened up. I don't really think it's worth my time. I'm not going to really sit here and examine it. And in all honesty, I don't think it's going to really make that much of a difference unless you really are a jeweler or a watchmaker or someone who really is kind of anal. I'm not, so I'm just going to sort of get rid of these things, and then we'll see how it turns out. So same thing, I'm just going to kind of come along, we're just going to polish. That's the first step. You can kind of see that it's brought off some of that tarnish, and then you got to go to step 2. Step 2 is, I've used this one before, but they give you this sort of polishing cloth, and then you come on with this one, and then do the same thing. So that's really it. You just kind of work at it, and with a little bit of pressure, again, not much pressure at all, you just will burnish it out. Nothing's going to bring this back to the original Rolex polish. I mean, they have equipment and engineering machinery that can get an incredibly high luster. You're not going to get that with a Cape Cod cloth, but you will get it pretty darn close. So we're just going to continue to work at it, and eventually these guys are going to burnish right out. So I'll keep going, and then we'll come back. Okay, so still working with the Cape Cods, and you can start to see this is starting to get a nice mirrored finish back again. I'm still working. You can still see some of the deeper gouges in it when I probably banged a doorknob or something like these guys in here. That's not going to obviously polish out, but the surrounding, you'll see that is going to start to get a pretty mean polish. So still going to go, and then we'll give you the end result. Okay guys, so here is the end game of the combo of toothbrush, Dawn, Scotch Brite, and a Cape Cod cloth. So here is our, as close as we can get to a mirror finish on our sides. Again, you can see those deeper gouges obviously aren't going to polish out. All that desk diving stuff, all those little scratches, those blended away perfectly. I mean, that's, I think, like I said, to my eye, I think that looks pretty new. In a couple minutes, this thing ended up looking pretty darn sharp. So I'm happy with it. I'm not really the kind of guy who likes to really attack these curved edges, because that kind of stuff I'd probably do more damage than it's really worth. But that's our end game. So glad you took the time to come and watch it. And I don't know, maybe if you got the guts, you'll give it a shot too. to breathe a little life into your old sub. So thanks again for watching, and check you soon.